What's up, y'all? I'm finally here. I'm finally back. You see what time it is? It is 1:13 in the morning. Yeah. I'm excited, obviously, because if you don't follow football, my team just clinched their spot in the playoffs. It was a nail biter all the way to overtime. That's why this video is extra, extra late. But I'm in a good mood. I'm happy. This episode was a drag to get through. It was the best part was the ending. Like the last bit was the best part. And it's just crazy because when you watch Jazmin's Cabaret, if y'all don't watch Jazmin's Cabaret, go watch it. It's so much better than the show. It makes the show look so boring because their storylines move because there's a point to the show. And when there's a point to the show, things organically happen and it becomes so much more entertaining. But this show, hopefully it's going to pick up towards the middle part of the season, but we're getting towards where it looks like storylines are starting to build. But yeah, shout out to y'all. As always, showing love, thumbs up the video, subscribing. Y'all know we're on the road to 10K. Like I said in my recap earlier with Jocelyn's, the end of the year is coming. We're about to end the year. We're about to end the year in 2 days. But I just gotta thank y'all. As always, like I literally started the year with like 1,600 subscribers, and now I'm sitting here at 6,300, almost 6,400. So on the road to 10K. If you're new here, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on. Thumbs up the video. Get in the comments because I'm going to be here for the rest of the season. Many more, I guess, because y'all are here. That's the reason why I'm doing it. But, yeah, I know what y'all here for. Y'all waited a long time for it. I'm not going to waste your time anymore. We're going to go ahead and get on into this recap. All right, so we get back to Dolly versus Paula. The first round, it was a lot of windmilling, especially on Paula's end. Dolly was just da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Tink immediately says, Dolly, you lost. In that round, it looked like it was a tie, if you asking me. But they go another round. In this round, I'm giving that one to Paula because Paula was getting Dolly. Like Dolly was connecting a couple, but Paula was getting her to the point where she got her off balance too. And Tasiki even said the same thing too. Dolly shouldn't have come back for that second round because Paula was giving it to her. Like she was. Like I can't come on. But Ivori at the end of that, she goes over and gives Paula her props saying that she ate. She did, honestly. Like Paula gonna get out there regardless. Win, lose or draw, she gonna get out there and Bad Dolly, you asked for it. You jumped in. You wanted this fight. You got what you... Well, you didn't get what you was asking for, but you got something. But Ivori said what I tell y'all all the time. Like, all you got to do is keep your head up and swing. That's what I told you. Swing with both hands. Keep your head up. Same shit I say. But Ivori ends up saying that her and Paula kind of understand each other. She understands her. Says that her back be up against the wall. Many bitches want to fight her. And she get out there and handle her business. And it makes her love Paula. I agree. I can't stand how much Ivori is making me agree with her the past couple weeks. She did it here as well. This episode, there's a lot of things she said that I agreed with, but we're going to get to it. But Paula ends up saying that them bitches pop the most shit, talking about Dolly and Summer. And Ivori said, yeah, when they do it, pop all of them. I said exactly at this point. But Tasiki ends up joining them and tells her that she did her big win, giving Paula her props. Ivori said, rest today and get a bitch tomorrow. Sound advice. But Paula ends up saying she tired of calling out bitches and the other bitches come running up to take their phase for him. I'm like, I get it because like Diamond did it, Tinka did it. Well, Tinka did it first and then Diamond did it, and now you got Dolly doing it again because she did it one time and she doing it again. But Dolly is now sitting over there in pain talking about that hand and that finger. I said you wouldn't be in pain if you stop trying to run in and get fights off. Like it's clear you trying to do this stuff so you can get camera time. But when you do it, you want to sit and whine about your hands hurting. Like, nobody told you to do that. So what's the purpose in you doing that? But Summer is sitting over there trying to help her, talking about how Dolly is crazy trying to line it up. She's saying this in her confessional. She's saying Dolly is crazy trying to line it up with Paula after she done broke her hand damn near. And Dolly, she's sitting there grimacing and everything, saying, wrap my hand, I'm going to go again. Yeah, we know you want to go again because you didn't do what you wanted to do in them rounds. But Summer is sitting there talking to Dolly, kind of like trying to help her through it. She's getting medical. I'm putting quotations because I don't know if that's really medical. It's Zeus people. But they're over there spraying her hand down or whatever. I don't know what that's supposed to do. Maybe y'all tell me if you're in the medical field, if that helps kind of numb some pain. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming. But Summer's sitting there talking to Dolly and everything, and Dolly is sitting there snapping at her, telling her to shut the fuck up, shut up talking to me. I was like, who are you talking to? Like, you mad because you didn't do what you wanted to do. Why are you lashing out on me? I didn't tell you to jump in my fight. If I was Summer, that's what I would have said. But Summer's sitting there spraying something on her hand. Dolly's still snapping at her, saying this shit is strong. Dolly is saying that her hand was holding her back from fighting at her full ability. If that's the case, then why are you fighting? If you know you're not at your full ability, why are you jumping into fights? Nobody pressed you. Nobody pressed you to fight unprovoked. You provoked Paula, which is why Paula said, come on, let's go. You didn't have to fight because it wasn't your issue. But they start putting 2 splints on her fingers. She got a splint on one finger at this point. On this one and on both hands. It's like, your hands are broken like this is because you don't know how to accurately throw a punch. Like, if your hands are getting broken like this, it's because you don't know how to fight. You don't know how to accurately throw a punch. Like, your hands should not be getting broken, and your hands and your fingers shouldn't be hurting all the time if you know how to throw a punch. But Dolly is sitting there talking she's sitting there talking shit while she's getting medical attention. Tasiki ends up saying that Dolly is going off on everybody, but you know how these bitches are whenever they get punched in their head. And that's true. Like, the ones that's always talking the most after a fight are the ones that end up getting beat. Like, this is the truth. But Natalie is now sitting down, talking to the rest of the girls, talking about how she wants to see them get to show their personality a little bit more and actually do something. I said, Natalie, that would require you to actually have activities, EP. If you want them to do something and do more, why don't you do something else outside of just partying and fighting? Why don't you set up other things to do? Take a hint from Jocelyn. She over there kicking your ass when it comes to production and quality of a TV show. Like, she over there tearing you up. But Emma and Scotty, they start doing splits and stuff. I'm like, is that supposed to be the entertainment? Is that supposed to be them showing personality and stuff? I'm like, okay, I guess. But Natalie ends up saying that Scotty is popping her shit this season. How many times you gonna say that, Natalie? She been popping her shit. Like, the past couple seasons, she's had a voice. She said what she needed to say. She has fought. She at least will get out there in the field. You are not doing that now. But we find out that this is their last night in Chicago. Their last night in Cleveland. And they end up getting ready to go out for the night. We get the next scene. And this scene comes in with Dolly screaming at Lex because she claims that she had told Lex, my hand was fucked up and you were supposed to get that bitch. I said, so you're mad because you're hurt. But not only that, you decided that you wanted to fight. But since you didn't get the win that you thought you was going to get, now it's her fault because she didn't help you fight. Like, it don't make no sense. It's not Lex's fault that you decided that you wanted to fight Summer's battle. I'm like, you just making excuses because you just got beat up. Like, I don't want to say she got beat up, but you didn't win. And now you just mad. You lashing out on everybody else, but you should be mad at yourself. That you're just lashing out on other people. But in her confessional, she got this green look. I think it's green. But she looked really, really pretty in this one too. But Dolly ends up telling Lex she got to get out of the room. And Lex said, I'm not going nowhere. Dolly ends up saying, as she's sitting there with 6 splints on her fingers now. She got about like 3 splints on each finger. On each hand too. But they start going back and forth. And Lex is pretty much saying, like, I'm not jumping in no fight with Paula because she's no competition. I agree with that. Like, there's no point in you to continue to fight her. But Lex is talking about how she already beat Paula and she's little as fuck. Again, little don't have nothing to do with it, but like, I get why you don't want to fight her. But she said, I don't have nothing to prove to her. Like, she said, I'm not scared of her. Which Ivori was cracking me up in this too, because she's standing in the middle of Summer and Lex as this conversation is going on, and she just sitting there eating it up. Like, she just looking like, I hate that she's actually looking likable in this moment. Like I said, I will never like her, but I'm a realist. Whenever the moments are happening the way they are, and I agree with them, and it's funny, it is funny to me. But Lex ends up saying that she didn't expect those two, aka Dolly and Paula, to fight, but she was gonna have her back. But Paula called out Summer, not Dolly. Dolly was the one that decided that she wanted to fight. So that's what you wanted, that's what you got. I said, exactly. So Dolly, be mad at yourself. But Lex ends up saying if Dolly has a problem, she can leave. Lex ends up saying too, like, I'm sleeping upstairs in my room and I wish somebody would touch my shit. And if they do touch my shit, it's gonna be a problem. Biggie, Ivori, and Summer are down there as well, and Biggie's sitting there reassuring her that no, she's not gonna touch her shit and whatever. But Dolly is sitting there getting her wig put back on her head. She's still sitting there whining about that hand. But she's claiming that the pain is at a 10 instead of a 5 as it once was. But once her hand is healed, them bitches gonna feel her. I'm like, okay, we'll see. We'll see. But we get the montage of them getting ready. The most notable moment was Jayla cracking me up. Y'all know how Jayla is. Whenever she knows that camera's on her, she gonna give you a model walk. When she walked away, that shit was funny. But they head out to go to the club. They get on the bus. Ivori is sitting there talking about we going to the rumor lounge. A lot happened earlier. You know, Dolly got dropped to her knees. That shit cracked me up in the confessional because I'm like, that shit was funny because it's what happened. It's true. But Ivori then asked Lex on the bus what's happening with her and Dolly. Like, y'all was just sitting here in the middle of the hall, sitting here arguing, you taking your shoes off like you about to fight her. So what's going on? I'm like, okay, Ivori, be the EP. She's acting like Natalie now. But Lex ends up saying that Dolly was mad because she ain't fight Paula for her because her hand was fucked up. Lex then also says that they handled their issue, her and Paula handled their issue because Paula's no longer competition to her, or is no competition to her. And Ivori, instigating, looks to Paula and says, oh, so she pretty much saying that you're not fucking with her. Like, you're not on her level. You're not fucking with her. Instigating. I'm like, I see what you're doing. But Lex ends up saying, to answer your question, I cannot talk. It's late at night. Dolly said that I got to get out of the room, and that's not happening. At the end of the day, that's not happening. That's what we was arguing about, whatever. Natalie, she then has them go do a baddie shot o'clock, and then they end up arriving to the lounge. Most notable parts about this, Lex gets on the mic in the club, shouting out, saying, this is my city. Keep in mind, they in Cleveland. I'm like, Ohio, my Ohio people, you let me know how far Cleveland is from Akron. Because I know they are two completely different cities. So for Lex to be saying she from Akron, but now talking about Cleveland is her city, I don't get it, but okay. But they had a decent turnout. I don't want to say decent, because they had a good turnout. They had a lot of people there. I don't know if it was all for them or it was people, just random people around the city just going out. But they had a decent amount of people around them. Tasiki, she's performing. Lex gets on the mic. Like I said, she's hyping up the club, talking about they in her city. Jaden, she gets on the mic. She starts performing. Ivori gets on the mic and says, this is her city, and I run this city. I said, oh, I see what you're doing. But Lex ends up saying in her confessionals that she feel like Ivori violated her by saying that's her city. I said, how? But first of all, if that's the case, then do something about it. But the next day we get Natalie and the OGs and Akbar and Jaden. They end up leaving what looks to be a hotel to go to where the new girls are at the house. So we get a scene with Lex, Dolly, and Summer. They're in their room packing because they're about to leave Cleveland to go to Chicago. Dolly, we find out she's over the issue with Lex. She realized that she was overreacting, and if she don't want to fight, you can't make her fight. Duh. But they're talking about the club and everything and how the city showed up and showed out and how they wish Dolly was out there with them. And Dolly ends up saying, like, if bitches shut up, I'll be all right. They'll be all right. I said, ain't nobody said nothing to you. Like, you literally looking stupid. Like, you just looking for a moment. But they're all looking forward to going to Chicago. Tinkerbella, we get a scene with her in Ivori's room. She comes into Ivori's room to check on her energy. And Ivori's like, I feel like it's going to be some shit in the city. Once we get to Chicago, I feel like it's going to be some shit. And then she ends up saying, too, that she feels like Emma is probably going to be the one to go home because everybody's been trying to vote her out. And it might also be Summer, too, because she's been doing a lot, talking about her going home. We get a scene with Jazmin, Emma, and Paula. They're in the room talking about looking forward to going to Chicago and everything. They're talking about how most of the house feels like they should be the ones to go home. And Emma says that she feels like the reason why they feel that way is because they can't stand the fact that they are all too real. I'm sitting here thinking about it. Who all is too real? Paula is definitely real. Jazmin is real. Y'all don't want to give Jazmin her credit, but I'm going to give it to her. I don't see why a lot of y'all don't like Jazmin. Like, I like Summer too. I feel like that's the reason why a lot of y'all don't like Jazmin is because you like Summer. But I like Summer too, but Jazmin is not a problem. Jazmin's not boring. Jazmin fits the baddie aesthetic, so I don't see why she shouldn't be there. And Jazmin, like I said, we are on episode 10 now. Jazmin has a storyline. She's been a focal point. If we were to stop the season now, Jazmin has been a big part of the season, more so than a lot of the other people that are still on the show, and I'm talking about them OGs. But, whatever. But Emma ends up saying that Rolly and Biggie, they go into Diamond's room, they're taking a shot of Hennessy. Biggie is sitting there talking about how she feels a lot of the girls shouldn't be coming with him. I said, and why do you feel that way, Biggie? Because it's funny, because a couple cities ago, you weren't one of them girls that was supposed to be with them anyways. It's just so funny how she always now wants to feel big. I love how she always proves me right. Like, the things that happen to her, she always then wants to turn around and do it to somebody else. It's funny to me, but she won't ever do it to the person that did it to her. Like, have that energy with Natalie. Why don't you tell Natalie you get off the show? I know this is your show, but bitch, you get off the show. You're not doing nothing. You're not contributing to nothing. Yeah, you're being messy, but you ain't fighting. You ain't standing on business. That's when she would get my respect, but she ain't never gonna do it because she a punk. But Diamond ends up saying that people think it's all about fighting and stuff, but what else can you do? It's not just about fighting. Granted, the show shouldn't be just about fighting, but that's what it is. You know, that's what it is. But Rolly says we bring comedy and all kinds of shit. Biggie sitting there talking about, are y'all serving looks, being funny, popping your shit? I said, what are you doing? Serving looks, the look that you had in your confessional, we're going to talk about it in a minute. That's not a good look. Being funny, you can be funny in some moments, popping your shit. You talk a lot of shit, but don't ever back it up. So, be for real. But the confessional, like I said, that confessional look that she had on with the green hair, the choker, and then like with her, I'm all about body positivity and everything, but no, she looked a fool. She looked a mess. Like, no. Diamond. The next scene, we get her. She sees the bus outside. She starts yelling for the girls to come down so they can go out. So they end up meeting the other girls, which is Natalie's crew. They get off the bus and meet them. They're all in the yard at this point. And Natalie's pretty much talking about Cleveland was fun. We're going to the next city, but everybody ain't coming. Everybody came. But anyways, Natalie, she's talking about how I feel like, and Jayla ends up saying this is going to be the hard part. Natalie says, no, it's not going to be the hard part. It's not hard at all because I don't have the time anymore. But she then proceeds to say, it's two people that are up to go home and we can all discuss it. I said, Natalie, if it wasn't so hard, why don't you just tell the two girls that need to go home? If it's not so hard, why you got to discuss it? Like, Natalie, she contradicts herself so much. But Akbar ends up saying that she don't want nobody to go home. Summer butts in and says Paula, Emma, and Jazmin, of course. Summer ends up saying that they are not given what needs to be given and says that they got to go. Paula says, I think Summer should go home. And Natalie ends up asking the OGs that's been in the house with the girls for their feedback. And Diamond ends up saying that Akbar should go home because she likes to spit. I agree. Akbar says that I'm not going home. Diamond ends up saying if she had to choose somebody from the new girls, it would be Emma because she's got a lot of personal shit going on at home, which could be affecting her energy there. While that can be true, I feel like that's an excuse. Call me insensitive. I feel like that's an excuse. I do. I'm not saying that her family is not dealing with what they're dealing with, but I genuinely feel like that's an excuse. Like, and if that's the case, go home. Go home and tend to your family. Granted, I can understand you wanting to be there to get a check, and it could be helping for treatment. But I just find it interesting how this is now being brought up now. But Tink ends up saying that Emma, she ends up saying Emma as well because she's been dealing with a lot, pretty much echoing the same thing that Diamond has said. Anna says not because you feel that she's quiet, that's why you feel like she shouldn't go home. Or that's why you feel like she should go home. And Tink says that too, but some people are quiet. It takes a while for them to kind of warm up to get to doing their shit. I said, what? Because that completely contradicts what you just said. You said that she was quiet and is not really doing much. But then you say, like, it ain't making no sense to me. But Emma says that she respects them understanding where she's coming from, but regardless of what she's going through, she still wants to show them that she's still going to be a lit bitch. You've had plenty of opportunities to do that, but you haven't done it. But Natalie, she ends up asking Rolly and Biggie. Biggie ends up saying Jazmin because she doesn't feel like she's received much from her in the house and says she's not supportive of them when they're performing at the club. I said, be for real. That's an invalid reason to want to send her home. You only choosing her because you feel like that's the easy target. Like, let's just be real. But Anna ends up saying she does support. She's next to me when she does it. And Jazmin said, yeah, every time. Jazmin also says Biggie should, and she's saying this in her confessional, and I completely agree. Biggie should go home because let's not deflect from the real problem, which is when it's time to get in the paint, you don't want to do it. I said, hello? She said, that's what everybody's problem and complaint is with you. Where's the lie? Where's the lie? But Jazmin said, I reciprocate support, a.k.a. when you support me, I support you. I fully agree with that. I'm the same way. But Biggie ends up saying that I don't see you next to me, but I'm not mad. I'm not saying that you don't. What? Jazmin said, I'm not standing next to you when you be doing all that jumping and shit just to get knocked down. But Lex ends up asking Ivori. She asked Ivori if she was trying to be funny when she was in the club saying that was her city. And Anna butts in and said, well, no, Ivori ends up saying first, every city I go to, I say that's my city. And just like Natalie. But Anna butts in and says to Lex, that ain't even your city. Like, you said you from Akron. I said, exactly. Exactly. And Anna been clocking Legs. Y'all don't like to hear it. I'm not the biggest fan of Anna anymore. But when she's right, she's right. And everything she just said to Lex is right. But Lex is talking about, you don't know, that's a part of my city. Is Akron a part of Cleveland? Y'all let me know. Maybe I'm not up to game on certain things, but in my knowledge, from what I know, Akron and Cleveland are two different cities. So you tell me if they're in the same city. You let me know. But Ivori said in her confessional that she was drunk and no, she wasn't trying to be funny and wasn't being funny, but they was chanting her name, and she was like, why weren't they chanting your name? This is supposed to be your city. Akbar and Jaden, they head off because Akbar feels like she's too good to get on the bus and claims that she's going to go get a first class ticket to go fly in. You could have been on that flight, on that jet, but okay. But Natalie ends up saying that it is what it is. Emma and Jazmin, y'all going to be the two that are going to be selected to see what we're going to do with y'all. And says the girls on the boat, on the jet with her, are going to discuss what's going to happen with them. I said, okay. Okay. But she then says Rolly, Scotty, Jayla, Anna, and Tasiki are going on the jet with her, of course. Biggie's loser ass, talking about some and Biggie. I said, you're embarrassing. I'm like, if somebody don't want me around, you ain't got to worry about me being around. I'm not going to force myself into being somewhere that nobody wants me to be. Biggie, at her big age, is still trying to force herself into situations that she's not wanted in. Natalie don't want you over there. Like, it's embarrassing. But Natalie says, and Biggie, after she said that, and Biggie's sitting there talking about what? You was going to take Jaden with you? If y'all looked at Anna and Tasiki's faces, that lets me know they really are over her. And I don't blame them. Like, you're embarrassing. But they head off to go to Chicago on the bus. Ivori's telling all the girls on that bus, if y'all got an issue, call out the fade. I'm tired of the weird questions. If you need that, say that. I don't disagree with her. She ends up getting her confessionals and says, Lex, are you okay? Do you still want that smoke? Because you keep addressing me. I said, I hate that she's making me agree with her because I agree with her. Like, Lex is on that passive-aggressive shit now. Like, you done fought her many a times. You can get out in the field with her. Just ask her for the fade. You know she gonna ask. You know she gonna give it to you. No, you know she gonna give it to you. You know y'all both don't like each other. Like, let's just be real. There's no reason to even talk anything out at this point. Normally I would say so, but there's no reason at this point. But she ends up telling them all, you don't need an explanation to fight me. They know that. Trust me, they know that. Everybody on that show knows who she is, knows her history. This girl lives to fight. Like, you tell her that you want to fight, she will fight you. And she said, I'm not going to ask you why. I will just get out there with you. Just tell me and I'm going to meet you right there. Lex then gets in her confessional and said, I feel like you throwing shade. How is she throwing shade at you when she's so direct? She's telling every last one of y'all, if you got an issue with me, run it. Tell me you want to run it and we can run it. That's not shade. That's direct. But Ivori is sitting there telling them, on God in heaven, this shit is getting weird, the freaky deaky shit. I'm sick of bitches acting weird. Stop playing with me before I start tweaking in this bitch. But Paula, she got a new confessional. She looked really, really pretty in that confessional. She did. She looked good. But Jazmin and Summer, they're bickering. Tink is asking Jazmin why she likes roller coasters. Jazmin says it's the adrenaline. I like fast shit. Summer ends up saying on the side, yeah, for a slow bitch. I'm like, here we go again. Like, she just be picking with Jazmin. But Jazmin ends up saying, everybody know you the slow bitch. And they start going back and forth. Jazmin ends up saying, your arguments don't make sense because when I'm arguing with you, I feel like I'm arguing with somebody who is really slow for real. And it's making me feel slow. I started dying laughing. That shit was funny to me. And Tinker Diamond was laughing too. Like, their reaction was me. But she ends up saying, like, arguing with you dumbs me down. I feel like I'm stupider. I'm getting more and more dumb sitting here arguing with you. And she said, I'm going to tell you the truth. I think you stupid as fuck. I feel her on that. Because and I tell y'all this sometimes all the time, when I watch Zeus, I have to turn it back around with watching something educational. Because when I watch these women and these men on these shows speaking the way they speak, you got to back it up with some true intellect. Because the more you consume of this shit, you start to become that way. And I can't have it. But Jazmin ends up saying Summer is watching her with bifocals. Says she created this beef with her, essentially, like you eat, sleep, and dream, Jazmin. It is true. I like Summer, but it's true. It's true. Jazmin ends up saying that I'm trying to tell you this to help yourself and help you to keep yourself being sane. And Summer says you can't help me. Summer says you can't help me when you can't help yourself. And Summer says I don't need no help. Tina do. Jazz said, who is Tina? I said, who is Tina? Summer says, me. And I'm like, what? And Summer says, you slow as fuck. Like, Ike and Tina, bitch. No, but I don't know how she thought somebody was supposed to understand what she was saying there because I didn't understand it. But they start making small talk about who's been in Chicago and who hasn't been in Chicago. Lex ends up asking where Diamond stands with Akbar. Diamond ends up saying, like, she needs to go home because she's spitting on people. But she says, essentially, if she keeps her mouth shut, we cool, I ain't got no issue, but once you start popping it, it's going to be what it's going to be. I'm about to pause so I can take a drink break. And if you got this far, put the plate with the fork and spoon emoji. If you got this far right now, put that down there. All right, we about to wrap this up because I'm getting really, really tired. And hopefully this energy is still going to be here. But, yeah, and I just lost my nose. Where am I at? Hold on. Hold on. Okay. So on the jet, Natalie, she ends up trying to get them to decide on what they're going to do with the two girls. Anna ends up saying that Emma might be using the money to help her dad, even though she feels like people should be going home because there's too many bitches here. Anna ends up saying that Jazmin is actually a lit bitch. Like, she cool. Like, Anna is agreeing with me. Natalie ends up asking what Emma is, like, she's pretty much asking what Emma's going through. And essentially they say that her dad may have cancer, which is sad, but I feel like it's an excuse, honestly. But Natalie ends up talking about how they should make her feel like feel the sisterhood that is the Baddies. I said, what sisterhood? But okay. But Rolly ends up saying everybody should have a fair chance at being a baddie. They shouldn't expect them to just be like them. I said, if that's the case, then why are you so mad at Slim being there? We'll move on. Natalie also ends up asking Emma, saying that Emma is boring and quiet, but when she gets liquor in her system, she could be a good time. But Jazmin isn't putting her all into letting bitches know not to play with her when she's falling short. I said, first of all, that's a bullshit reason. You could tell Natalie is reaching, trying to find a reason to validate why Jazmin should go home. I'm like, that's a bullshit reason. And then first of all, it's a real bullshit reason because she has. Anytime Summer presses her, she always defends herself. She has gotten in the field when it comes to fighting as well when it comes to that. So that don't make sense. But Natalie ends up asking Scotty if she likes Emma, and Scotty ends up saying too, like, it's not that I don't like her, it's just I haven't gotten a chance to get to know her, and she didn't want to get to know me either. She came on here coming for me, so why would I want to get to know her, and why would I like being around her? And she's like, I hear what y'all saying about what she's going through and whatever, and needing to be around people to keep her mind off of it, but that's how she felt. I feel like Scotty is not in the wrong. Like, people say, like, Scotty's dragging it or whatever. Scotty can have every right to drag it because you came on the show starting with me. You can't start with me and then get mad when I continue to give you what you've been asking for. Like, you wanted that. You wanted that issue with me, so I'm going to give it to you. But they do a baddie shot o'clock. We get to Chicago. They get in the house. They love the house. Natalie thinks that they should go in and change some names with the newbies in the house that they're not living in. This was some Bad Girls Club shit. Like, this was Bad Girls Club. But Natalie goes in to the room with, I think it was Ivori's room, and pulls Lex's name tag and puts it on the door. This is why Ivori wants to fight everybody that was involved. Ivori said what looks to be that she wants to fight everybody that was included in or at least knew about this, which is Ivori Tasiki, A lot of y'all are excited of the thought of Ivori fighting Tasiki at the reunion because I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all think that she's going to probably beat Tasiki or have a chance at beating her. Not going to happen. I'm not here to crush dreams, but I'm going to crush y'all's dreams. If Ivori don't come in there with some top tier form in the next couple months, she's not beating her. Yes, she's a heavy puncher. She's a very heavy puncher. But Tasiki is as well. And Tasiki got form, and she knows how to throw multiple different punches. But Biggie is there, and I hope she gets Biggie. Who else is there? Jayla's there at one point. Anna's there at one point. We'll see if she stands on all of those people. But they're sitting there laughing, and Biggie's talking about Ivori's going to kill them. Oop, I wish I didn't say that, but whatever. YouTube, don't get me. But Anna and Natalie, they say that it's funny to put the prank on her. Like, they're just trying to have fun. At this point, they just trying to have fun. They being messy. But you dealing with Ivori. Like, you dealing with Ivori. You can't just put a prank. You can't pull a prank on her. Not this type of prank. But Akbar and Jaden, they arrived. The new girls arrived shortly after. Natalie, being messy, tells them to go up and go find their rooms, knowing what she just did. So they go up there running. And Ivori goes in and pulls Lex's name off the door. Obviously. And she says, you know I'm not sharing a room with you. Lex comes into the room and jumps on the bed. Diamond's in there with them as well, saying, wait, this is your room. And Lex asks, like, was my name on the door? And she ends up asking Ivori if her name was on the door. And Ivori says yes. And Diamond ends up asking Ivori if she took Lex's name off the door. And Ivori said, yeah, I'm not sharing a room. I'm not doing it. I'm not sharing a room with nobody. But really, I'm not sharing a room with her. And Lex said that she had given Ivori a pass in Cleveland, but she's trying her now. And she's saying this in her confessionals. Jayla gets up there now. Scotty's up there as well. Ivori ends up saying in her confessional, bitch, if you don't get the fuck out my room, I'm not playing with you. Like, get the fuck out my room. She ends up going outside on the balcony telling everybody downstairs that they ain't here fucking with her. And Anna and Biggie sitting there acting dumbfounded, talking about, what happened? What happened? Natalie sitting down there laughing. Ivori gonna get her ass at that reunion. I think she should, or at least I think she will, considering the Ivori that I know. We'll see, because maybe she don't want to burn the bridge. Or what's the saying? Bite the hand that feeds you. Because maybe she wants to stay on Baddies, obviously. But if she fights Natalie, that could put it in jeopardy. Especially her fighting Natalie. Natalie gonna get her ass whooped. But she down there laughing. Anna says, like, it was me, it was a joke. I'm like, why are you taking ownership for this? Because you didn't do it. Like, the person that did it was Natalie. Everybody else was laughing about it, but Natalie is the one that did it. But Ivori goes back into the room. Jayla's up there with her too and asks her if she's okay. She up there checking her temperature. And Ivori asks, like, if it was y'all, like, who did it? And Jayla says, like, we kind of moved some names around. Again, why are you taking ownership for this? You didn't do it. Natalie did. Say it was Natalie. Just tell her it was Natalie. And she ends up saying, I think it was Anna. I'm like, Anna and the other girls. She said Anna's name, but she said, I think it's Anna and the other girls. I said, Jayla, why are you putting that on Anna? Put that shit on Natalie, the person that did it. But Jayla ends up saying nothing says that you have to stay in this room. Like, even though your name is on here, you don't have to stay in this room. And Ivori ends up telling Lex, like, what's up? Like, are you trying to stay in this room? Lex says, I'm staying in this room. Ivori takes her phone. It says, let's go. I said, uh-oh, here we go. And they get to squaring up, and they both fight so damn aggressively. It's like they get locked up and just be pop, pop, pop. Ivori was tagging Lex this time. This was her best showing when it came to Lex. Like, she was tagging her, hitting her with some, like, donkey boom, boom in the back of the head. Lex was swinging too, though. But next week, it looked like she was really getting Lex. She was really getting it. She kicked the shit out of her in that preview. And they fight again downstairs, and Lex looked like she's getting torn up. Turned every which way but loose. Anna was getting checked by Lex. Lex said some real shit. She said Anna's mouth is too big for her size. That is true. Slim and Rolly, they have a sit down, which is probably going to go nowhere. Rolly sitting there telling her, like, you going to have to be my assistant. Bitch, who the fuck are you? Assist what? Assist what? Helping you get to a gym to get on a treadmill? I guess. But Ivori ends up saying, whoever removed the name tag, I want to fight. Natalie was the one that removed it, so we'll see if that happens. But if y'all got this far, thank you for thugging it out with me, because you see I've been stumbling over my words. It is 1:50 at night, and I'm tired. My head's hurting. But if you got this far, please thumbs up the video. If you haven't already, subscribe if you're new. We're on the road to 10K. I know y'all gonna get in the comments. I don't have to tell y'all, but I'm gonna tell y'all anyways. Get in them comments. I will see y'all tomorrow. We're going live. Myself, Movie Bay, and Legend, as always. Turn the post notifications on. We'll see y'all then. Peace.